The ring in the drawer was identical to mine. Same diamond. Same cut. Same engraving. Only one thing was different. It wasn't meant for me. My name is Marina Cole. I lived in Seattle, Washington, in a clean white house with big windows and a quiet street. The kind of life people describe as perfect. I had been married to Michael Cole for 6 years. 6 years of routines. 6 years of shared coffee mornings. 6 years of hearing him say, "You're the only woman I've ever loved." I believed him. I defended him. I built my life around that lie. That afternoon, I wasn't snooping. I was looking for batteries. Michael's desk drawer was stuck, so I pulled harder than usual. It slid open suddenly, and something fell out. Paper. Old paper. Folded carefully. They weren't bills. They weren't documents. They were love letters. Dozens of them. Written in neat handwriting. Not mine. My heart began to race as I picked one up. Every day without you feels like punishment. I promise our daughter will grow up knowing how much I love you. I stopped breathing. Our daughter? Then I saw it. A small velvet box pushed to the back of the drawer. I opened it, and the world tilted. Inside was a ring. The same ring Michael gave me 6 years ago. Same size. Same diamond. Same secret engraving inside the band. Forever yours. My hands started shaking. I went back to the letters. Signed at the bottom of every page. Michael. And written at the top of one envelope. To Isabella, Lisbon. Lisbon? Portugal? Michael had traveled there many times. Work conferences, he said. Clients, he said. I suddenly felt sick. I sat on the floor. Memories flooded back. Trips that always lasted exactly 10 days. Calls he never answered overseas. Photos he never posted. Holidays he was too busy to attend. This wasn't a mistake. This was a system. I opened my laptop. Typed one sentence. Michael Cole Lisbon. And there he was. A photo. Michael. Smiling. Standing beside a woman with dark hair. Holding a little girl. The caption read, "Family Sunday." My chest collapsed. She couldn't have been more than 4. Curly hair. Bright eyes. Holding Michael's hand. The same hand that held mine. I wasn't a mistress. I wasn't a side story. I was one of 2 wives. And the woman in Lisbon? She wasn't my enemy. She was my reflection. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Something colder settled inside me. Clearer. Michael thought I would break quietly. He was wrong. I found her email through a public post. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I wrote, "Hello. My name is Marina Cole. I believe we are married to the same man." I pressed send. My hands were steady. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. One email. From Isabella Reed. It said, "I've been waiting for someone to find me." And in that moment, I knew. Michael's empire of lies was about to collapse. I stared at Isabella's reply for a long time. "I've been waiting for someone to find me." Those words were heavy. Not angry. Not shocked. Just tired. I typed back immediately. "How long have you known?" Her reply came fast. 2 months. I didn't know how to reach you. So she had known. And she hadn't run. We spoke that night. Video call. The moment her face appeared on my screen, I felt something strange. She looked like me. Not physically, but in the eyes. The same confusion. The same hurt. The same disbelief. "I'm Isabella Reed," she said softly. "I live in Boston, Massachusetts now. We moved back from Lisbon last year." Moved back. With him. Michael met Isabella 8 years ago at a tech conference in New York. He told her he was single. He proposed to her in Lisbon. He gave her the same ring. He married her in a small ceremony by the ocean. 2 years later, their daughter Emily was born. "She thinks he's the best father in the world," Isabella said, her voice breaking. I closed my eyes. Michael had lived 2 full lives, and perfected both. As we talked, the details lined up too perfectly. When he said he was on a business trip with me, he was celebrating Emily's birthday with her. When he missed my anniversary, he was on vacation with Isabella. When he held my hand and said, "I only love you," He had just finished saying the same words to her. I confronted him, Isabella said. My heart jumped. What did he say? I asked. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. He cried. He begged. He said he was confused. He said he loved us both. Loved us both. That sentence lit something dangerous inside me. I was going to walk away, Isabella continued. Then I started looking into his finances. My body went still. What did you find? I asked. She leaned closer to the screen. Michael isn't just a liar, she said. He's a criminal. Michael owns shell companies. Fake startups. Accounts in different names. Money moving between countries. He's been using our names to hide assets, Isabella said. Including Emily's. I felt sick. He's been planning an exit, she added. And one of us was going to be left with nothing. Suddenly, the rings weren't symbols of love. They were insurance policies. I expected Isabella to cry. She didn't. I don't want revenge, she said. I nodded. I want justice, she finished. That was the moment I realized. She wasn't weak. She was waiting. We agreed on one thing immediately. Michael could never know we were connected. Not yet. Instead, we would let him feel safe, comfortable, powerful. Men like Michael only fall when they think they've won. I would stay the devoted wife. Smiling, supportive, unquestioning. I would gather documents, passwords, contracts, anything he left lying around. And he left a lot. Because he thought I was blind. She would play the forgiving wife. The one who wanted to work things out. The one who asked innocent questions about finances. The one who recorded every conversation. Michael loved to talk when he thought he was in control. 3 days later, Michael came home late. I kissed him. Asked about his trip. He smiled. Lied effortlessly. And for the first time in my life, I smiled back. Because now I knew the truth. And the truth had teeth. That night, while Michael slept beside me, his phone buzzed. A notification lit up the screen. From an unknown number. The message read, "We need to move the money sooner. She's asking questions." My heart pounded. She wasn't me. Or Isabella. There was someone else. And suddenly, Michael's game looked far bigger and far more dangerous than either of us imagined. I stared at Michael's phone long after the screen went dark. We need to move the money sooner. She's asking questions. The words she echoed in my mind. I didn't wake him. I didn't confront him. I did something far more dangerous. I memorized the number. The next morning, Michael acted normal. Coffee. A kiss on my forehead. A joke about traffic. I watched him like a stranger wearing my husband's face. That night, while he showered, I copied his phone to my laptop. Passwords he reused. Cloud backups he forgot about. Arrogance is always a weakness. Buried in the messages was a name I had never seen before. Rachel Moore. Not a lover's tone. Not romantic. Cold. Urgent. Transactional. She wasn't sleeping with him. She was working with him. I think there's a third woman, I told Isabella. There was silence. Then she said quietly, I was hoping you were wrong. Michael kept everything. Emails. Spreadsheets. Scans of documents. One folder was marked RM, Lisbon. Inside were contracts for property developments that didn't exist. Fake investors. Forged signatures. Millions moving through shell companies. He's laundering money, Isabella said when I sent her the files. And Rachel Moore is his fixer. Isabella dug deeper. Rachel Moore wasn't just an accomplice. She was a corporate lawyer with powerful connections. She cleaned messes, erased trails, destroyed evidence. And she was starting to suspect Michael might drag her down. That's why she was asking questions. This isn't just about exposing him, Isabella said. If he realizes we're a threat, he'll destroy us, I finished. Michael wasn't just a cheating husband. He was dangerous. That evening, Michael sat beside me on the couch. I'm thinking of expanding overseas again, he said casually. Portugal, I replied sweetly. His eyes flickered. Just for a second. Fear. Then control snapped back into place. Exactly, he said. That was the moment I knew. If I hadn't found the letters. If Isabella hadn't reached out. One day I would have simply disappeared from his life. Quietly. Legally. Efficiently. Isabella and I agreed on something terrifying. We wouldn't just expose him. We would trap him. Force him to choose. And make sure every path led to the same ending. Isabella would pretend she wanted to move back to Lisbon. I would suggest investing my inheritance into one of Michael's projects. Money makes liars careless. Greed makes criminals sloppy. 2 days later, Michael took a call on the balcony. I listened through the door. "You're panicking for nothing," he whispered. "No, she suspects nothing. None of them do. None of them." I felt cold. We were inventory to him. Assets. Liabilities. What Michael didn't know. Isabella had already contacted a forensic accountant. And I had quietly spoken to a federal investigator. Not to accuse. Not yet. Just to ask one question. What happens when a man commits fraud across borders? The answer made my hands shake. Rachel Moore sent Michael a final warning. "If this blows up, I will not protect you." Michael deleted the message. But I had already saved it. That night, an envelope appeared in our mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single photo. Me, leaving my office. Taken from a distance. On the back, written in black ink. "Stop digging." My heart raced, but my fear turned into something else. Resolve. Because now I knew. Michael had realized someone was watching. And the endgame had begun. I burned the photo in our fireplace. Not because I was scared. Because fear is what Michael understood. Silence was worse. I kissed him that night like nothing had changed. And for the first time, I felt power shift. At breakfast the next morning, I said it casually. "My aunt called," I said. "She's finalizing her estate. I might inherit a decent amount." Michael's fork paused midair. "How much?" he asked too quickly. I shrugged. "Enough to invest." His smile was smooth. But his eyes were hungry. On the same day, Isabella called him crying. "I can't do this anymore," she said. "I want to move back to Lisbon. I want us to be a family again." Michael's voice softened instantly. He loved control disguised as love. "That's exactly what I've been thinking," he said. 2 women. 1 lie. Perfect balance. Michael insisted on dinner. All 3 of us. Public place. Neutral ground. Isabella flew in 2 days later. When I saw her in person for the first time, I felt something unexpected. Respect. She looked calm. Focused. Dangerous. Michael played the devoted husband beautifully. He held my hand. Touched Isabella's shoulder. Spoke of new beginnings. A waiter passed by and Isabella's phone slipped from her bag. I picked it up. And felt Michael stiffen. Because for a split second, he thought I'd seen something I shouldn't. Later that night, Michael asked me quietly, "How long have you and Isabella been talking?" I met his eyes. "As long as you've been honest with us," I said. He laughed. But there was panic behind it. 2 days later, Michael emailed me an investment proposal. Portuguese real estate. High return. Fast movement. I forwarded it straight to the forensic accountant. The response came within hours. "This is illegal." And sloppy. Michael was rushing. Which meant Rachel Moore was pressuring him. Isabella recorded a call. Rachel's voice was sharp. "You're exposed," she said. 2 wives, fake companies, cross-border fraud. "I'll handle it," Michael snapped. Rachel sighed. "That's what you said last time." Last time. So there had been others. The federal investigator contacted me again. "Your information is solid," he said. "But we need one thing." "What?" I asked. "Proof he controls the money." Michael had been careful. Until now. That night, Michael drank too much. Confidence loosens tongues. "You know," he said, leaning back, "everything I built, I did it for us." "Which us?" I asked gently. He froze. Then laughed it off. But a moment later, he said something fatal. "I move the money myself. No one touches it without me." I recorded everything. The next morning, Isabella left early. She hugged Michael goodbye, whispered, "I love you," and slipped a tracker into his laptop bag. That evening, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "You should have stayed quiet." This time, no photo. Just a location pin. A place I recognized. The cafe where Isabella was sitting. I called Isabella immediately. Leave, I said. Now. But she didn't. Instead, she said calmly. Good. Let him come. Through the tracker, we watched Michael's car change direction. Toward Isabella. Toward the cafe. Toward a mistake he would never undo. The cafe in downtown Boston was full. Laptops. Coffee cups. Soft music. The last place a man like Michael would expect his life to end. Isabella sat by the window, calm, her phone on the table, recording. She looked like a woman waiting for a friend. Not a hunter waiting for prey. I watched the live location from my car parked 2 blocks away. Michael stormed inside. People looked up. He didn't care. Why are you doing this? He hissed, standing over Isabella. She didn't raise her voice. Sit down, she said. That alone shook him. You're putting everything at risk, he snapped. Isabella tilted her head. Everything, she asked. Or everyone? People nearby began to listen. Michael noticed. Too late. You lied to me for 8 years, Isabella said clearly. You lied to Marina for 6. You stole money in our names. You used our child as a shield. A woman at the next table gasped. Michael reached for Isabella's phone. She pulled it back. Careful, she said. That's backed up. Michael looked around. Eyes on him. Phones out. Whispers spreading. This wasn't a private mess. This was a stage. You think you're smart? He sneered. I can make this all disappear. Isabella smiled. So can I. She stood. And said the words that destroyed him. Federal agents are on their way. Michael laughed. Too loudly. Too fast. You're bluffing. Right then, my phone buzzed. One message. We're moving. I stood up. Walked into the cafe. Michael turned and froze. The room went silent. 2 wives. 1 man. No lies left. I told you to stay quiet, he whispered to me. I looked at him calmly. You should have listened. Michael grabbed my arm. Hard. That was all it took. Someone shouted. A chair scraped back. And then. Michael Reed, a voice said firmly. Hands where we can see them. 2 federal agents stepped forward. Rachel Moore's name was mentioned. Accounts were named. Transactions cited. Michael's face drained of color. He didn't fight. He knew. As they led him away, he looked back at us. Not angry. Terrified. Because he finally understood. We hadn't destroyed him emotionally. We had dismantled him legally. Isabella sat back down. Her hands shook now. Only now. I held them. You did great, I said. She exhaled for the first time in years. Charges will stick, he said. Thanks to you both. I ended the call. Looked at Isabella. We're free, I said. She nodded. But there was one thing left. Isabella reached into her bag. Pulled out a document. I didn't tell you everything, she said. My heart skipped. What? I asked. She slid it across the table. A birth certificate. Not Emily's. Another child. Another name. Another lie. Michael's empire was bigger than we thought. And it wasn't done falling. The birth certificate lay between us like a loaded weapon. Another child. Another woman. Another life built on lies. Who? I asked quietly. Isabella swallowed. A woman in California. He left before the baby was born. I felt a strange calm. Michael hadn't just betrayed us. He had systematically destroyed lives. The case moved fast. Too much evidence. Too many paper trails. Too many witnesses. Rachel Moore took a plea deal. She testified. Every account. Every shell company. Every forged signature. Michael's name was everywhere. So was his control. In the courtroom, Michael finally saw us clearly. Not wives. Not victims. Witnesses. Women who had learned the rules and rewritten them. He didn't look angry. He looked small. Guilty. Fraud. Money laundering. Identity manipulation. International financial crimes. The sentence was long. Long enough. We lost years. Trust. Sleep. The version of love we thought was real. But we didn't lose ourselves. Michael's assets were frozen. returned, reassigned. Emily's future was secured. The other child's mother was found, supported, protected. The cycle ended. Isabella moved closer to family, started over, built a business of her own. She stopped introducing herself as someone's wife. She became just Isabella. And that was enough. I sold the house Michael had chosen, bought one I loved. I learned something important. Peace is not quiet. Peace is honest. Michael wrote from prison. I didn't open it. Some stories don't deserve replies. We didn't win because we were stronger. We won because we were smarter. Because we trusted each other. Because we refused to disappear quietly. Some men build empires on lies. They always forget one thing. Lies collapse when women stop protecting them. And when they fall hard. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of your strength, if it made you feel seen, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of justice, resilience, and women who refuse to stay silent. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is living free.